Hey everyone, how are you? Hope you're well. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. So today we're going to talk about the feds. So the feds, they had a meeting today, the Federal Reserve. They met to decide what they're going to do about interest rates, and they decided to hold interest rates steady as of yet. So they had their meeting. Their meeting was today, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that was the decision. So tomorrow is the earnings for Apple stock, the company Apple. Also, the Federal Reserve, they did a study on the net worth of people, and I'm going to share their findings with you. So, according to the Federal Reserve, their study, they took the average net worth of Americans, and guess what net worth they came up with for the average net worth of Americans? Okay, according to their Federal Reserve study, the average net worth of Americans is $1.06 million in 2022, which is an increase from $868,000 in 2019. So I don't know who they were studying. Do you? Do you know who they were studying? Studies are very interesting, aren't they? Have no idea who they were studying. So the average net worth is 1.06 million for Americans, according to the Federal Reserve study. All right. So according to their study, net worth has increased by 37%. So has your net worth increased by 37%? Did you have anyone come out and survey you? That'll be an interesting question. Did anyone um, survey you? Anybody come ask you any questions? Okay, so this is the study that they did, and this is the results that they came up with. So that kind of shows you when people throw statistics out at you, like there are a lot of statistics out here. And if you notice the statistics, African Americans are on the bottom of everything. So that really goes to show you that statistics are not right. They're incorrect. All right. So people are pulling these statistics out of thin air, making them up. Right. So why would one race be at the bottom of every thing that you can think of? Because they're made up. It's not fact. Is your net worth 1.06 million? I mean, it will be in the future. Now, perhaps some of you, yes, the answer is yes, for some of you who are looking at me. And if you're looking at me, my email is below. I want you on the show. So I don't know why you're just watching me. I want to be interviewing you. So, anyway, so I guess the gist of this, this study that just came out, the net worth of Americans is 1.06 million in 2022. You get what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that obviously the statistics are incorrect. And I don't know who they're surveying. They're surveying Only a certain population. That's what I'm saying. And then you can apply this survey to every other survey that takes place. So, not to just take something as fact when you read it is incorrect. These statistics, you don't just take it as is. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So, according to the survey, the top 10% of people to be considered the top 10%, your net worth is 6.6 million. So once you have reached a net worth of 6.6 million, you are at the top 10%. Right? So numbers like that are interesting to me. Like, what is the top 10%? What is the top 1%? You know, those things are interesting to me. So according to this article that I'm reading, investing has increased since 2019. People holding individual stocks is at a record high in comparison to only having a retirement fund. So that suggests to me that they're wising up, right? Because what is the teaching when it comes to stocks? Okay, I'll just leave it there. According to the article, more people are investing who generally don't invest. So generally, young people don't invest, and then people wait till they get older to start investing. So the trend that they're noticing, according to this article, that more people are investing under the age of 35, where that's usually doesn't happen. So they're noticing that people under the age of 35 have increased their surge into the markets to invest. It's at a record high. Also, according to the article, they're noticing that there's an increase of Blacks and Hispanics entering the market, that is at a record high. And so I think it's interesting that they would even be looking at this. Like, they're looking at who is investing according to race and who's investing according to age. Like, all of this is being monitored. So I think that's interesting. So apparently there is some kind of someone has that position, whatever the name of that position is, where you are tracking who is entering the market. So if anyone knows what that career is, let me know in the comments. Apparently there is a career where you track the demographics of who is entering the markets. Let me know the name of that career in the comments. All right. So this is what the Federal Reserve is doing. They have decided to hold interest rates steady as of yet. So the stock market, it's been going down and up, still fluctuating. And so when it goes down, that's when you get in and you build your wealth. So it's kind of contrary to popular thought. So you're getting in at a discount, and you're building your wealth, and eventually it will go back up. All right. So that's what's going on in the stock market. Also, I am reading this book still, The Psychology of Money. Has anyone read this book already? Okay, I saw something interesting. Because, some people are not sure whether they should be in the stock market or not. Because, people don't know if they should trust the stock market or not, right? And then There's some people that don't trust the stock market and they're very verbal about it. And I won't mention their name, but I think you know who I'm talking about. Well, some people do not trust the stock market. So I'm reading this book here, and I saw something that I thought was interesting. So I'll share that with you really quickly. Let's see here. Mm. Okay, here it is. It says, consider that 85% of active mutual funds underperformed their benchmark over the 10 years ending in 2018. Okay, one more time. Consider that 85% of active mutual funds underperformed their benchmark over the 10 years ending 2018. That figure has been fairly stable for generations. You would think an industry with such poor performance would be a niche service and have a hard time staying in business. But there's almost $5 trillion invested in these funds. 5 trillion. Giving someone the chance of investing alongside the next Warren Buffett, and they'll believe with such faith that millions of people will put their life savings behind it. Or take Bernie Madoff. In hindsight, his his Ponzi scheme should have been obvious. He reported returns that never varied. They were audited by a relatively unknown accounting firm, and he refused to release much information on how the returns were achieved. Yet Madoff raised billions of dollars from some of the most sophisticated investors in the world. He told a good story, and people wanted to believe it. So this is one of those paragraphs that make you go, what is this book talking about? And I'm going to read that one more time. I'm just going to read the short version. Consider that 85% of active mutual funds underperformed their benchmark over the 10 years ending 2018. That figure has been fairly stable for generations. You would think an industry with such poor performance would be a niche service and have a hard time staying in business. But there's almost $5 trillion invested in these funds. Give someone the chance of investing alongside the next Warren Buffett, and they'll believe with such faith that millions of people will put their life savings behind it. You would think an industry with such poor performance would be a niche service and have a hard time staying in business. So, what do you think about what I just read? Does that make you go, Okay, this is what I would like for you to do. If you do not trust the stock market, or if you are wondering, you're teeter-tottering, and you're like, should I get in the stock market? Should I stay away from the stock market? One person is saying they would never put their money in the stock market. Another person is interviewing people who have 401ks, and that's how they became millionaires. If you're teeter-tottering, I would like for you to look below and check out this book that I have listed below. All right. This is for people who you're not sure if you should trust this thing or not. So look below and check out the book below that I have, Book of the Month. All right. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Basically, the Federal Reserve, they decided to keep the interest rates steady. And then the Federal Reserve is doing studies on people's net worth, and they're watching the demographics on who is entering the markets. All right. So do me a favor before I leave. I need for you to hit that like button, and I need you to hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye for now.